Why are some video games stuck in alpha or beta for what feels like forever? We're talking games that have been in development for 5, 10, even 13 years, and still aren't done. That's longer than most TV shows take to air their entire run, and with fewer cliffhangers. But what does it actually mean when a game is in alpha, beta, or even pre-alpha? Early access is another term they like to use too. Let's break it all down and find out why some games never seem to leave these stages. Game development usually follows these rough stages. First is pre-alpha. This is the Wild West of development. The game is mostly broken, half of it doesn't work, and the other half is probably just missing. This phase is mostly internal, unless a dev leaks it accidentally on purpose. Then the alpha stage obviously follows right after. Around here, the bones are there, but the muscles haven't shown up. Stuff exists, but it doesn't always behave. Enemies might T-pose, physics might rebel, you get the idea. The game has most or all of its core features implemented, even if they're buggy. After alpha, games typically move into beta, but these days it's more common to hit early access instead. That's when the game is released to the public, sometimes way too early, leading many to believe that it isn't finished yet. Devs take advantage of this, as many people assume they're all saying, "Please don't judge us yet" during this time. It's kind of like throwing a housewarming party before you finish building the kitchen. Then finally, before the official release, there's the beta. By now, the game should be feature complete, but it's still full of bugs. The beta is where devs pretend it's basically done, while secretly whispering, "Please don't find the game-breaking exploit in the back corner building." But after all these stages pass, the game gets its version 1.0 release. The day that seems to never arrive for a few of the games I will be mentioning in this video. You'll know it finally arrived when your game replaces early access with 3 simple letters: DLC. So, why do some games never leave these early stages? Let's start with one of the biggest culprits, something developers and fans know all too well: scope creep. This happens when devs keep adding more stuff. One famous game for this, and most of the other reasons, is Star Citizen, which has allegedly been in the alpha stage for over 13 years. In Star Citizen, they keep adding major new systems such as salvaging, mining, and cargo, new locations, full planetary landings, and even server meshing. They just keep expanding the scope of their game, essentially still building the core experience. Every time they add a new system, it resets the "we're almost there" clock. It's like you're building a house and you keep adding rooms. You never get to the decorating stage. Another one of the reasons that games avoid an official release is because they want to stay in early access. This is because it isn't just a development phase, it's more of a pay-to-wait experience. Instead of asking for venture capital, devs ask you, the players, to fund development. Every copy sold pays for future updates and developer salaries. This also avoids the pressure to release version 1.0. If the game is selling and the community is engaged, why rush it? That is generally the idea behind the often extended early access in games. Other times, however, it can be their lifeline if they're not doing too well. The next reason why some games remain in the earlier stages is your good old standard community feedback. Some devs genuinely listen to feedback, and I think it's safe to assume that 99% of them are indie devs. They release builds, they take criticism, fix bugs, and repeat, sometimes for years. It's basically the gaming version of Inbox Zero, except instead of emails, it's 12,000 bug reports and a Reddit thread calling your character models cursed. One notable game in this never-ending cycle is Project Zomboid. Sure, they're building the game with their players, but will this strategy ever produce the official release of Project Zomboid? But anyways, moving on. The next reason to consider is that some of these games are made by very small dev teams. When the whole team is just a couple of guys in their spare room, things take time. You're not just waiting on content, you're waiting for someone to finish their 9 to 5, reheat leftovers, and fix that tiny lighting bug that you've been complaining about on Reddit for 3 weeks. This kind of goes into our next reason, which is legacy coding and technical challenges. Sometimes the code is held together by duct tape, chewing gum, and silent prayers. If you've ever done a bit of coding, you know that sometimes something will just work, and you never want to touch it again because it might screw something up. When that one thing ends up breaking something in your game, suddenly the entire game is breaking, and you have to start from square one. You may even have to change how the game is coded. Early design choices can completely haunt a project, and we've definitely seen this happen before. Think of DayZ here, which took 5 years to leave early access because of this issue. And finally, there's the big brain move, just never releasing. Yeah, your favorite game in early access or beta could just be a strategic choice. Staying in beta lets devs dodge pressure, refunds, and reviews. It's like keeping a work in progress sign on a building that's clearly finished, but you don't want to pay taxes on it yet. So, the stages of alpha, beta, and early access. They're supposed to be temporary stages. But today, these stages aren't just temporary, they're the business model. Sometimes it works. Other times, it leaves us wondering if a game will ever be finished. What do you think? Should there be a specific time limit when it comes to using these terms on a game? Or do you think that these are practical business models? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one.